everyone, welcome to the Ben and Jason video cast. I'm Jason.
And I'm Ben.
And this week we took a look at the movie from 1981 called
Absurd.
Yes, not to be confused with the 2018 film Absurd, which was probably a little bit better than this Italian version of Halloween, according to critics. However, even though they say it's loosely based on Halloween, it definitely was not.
The film opens with a bearded man being chased by a man in a black raincoat and belt. The man that is running away from the person in the black raincoat goes over a old iron gate and apparently gets stabbed in the stomach with one of the, what would you call them? The ornaments on top of the gate or whatever. It pierces his stomach. Well, cut to this girl laying in bed. She has some sort of back injury, and she's being taken care of, and her little brother comes in, and the whole movie is just random scenes of just people doing somewhat normal things.
Very little horror.
Yeah, I mean, they try very hard with suspense, but getting back to the girl that's on her back. So anyway, this man knocks on the door, and the mom opens the door, and there he is, holding his intestines. And being an Italian film from this era, a lot of these was trying to be over the top with the gore, the blood and the gore and the violence and stuff. But this one falls short, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not good. And so what the plot basically is that the church or the Vatican has paid for an experimental...
it never explains it. It just says it does lab work.
Yeah, like a lab, but it was paid for by the church. Mm-hmm. And that's why at some point the priest comes to chase down the person that they have experimented on.
Who's apparently undead and can only be killed by his brain being pierced by a bullet or a blade.
Yeah, I think it said cerebral
mass. Yeah.
So obviously a headshot is going to take him out.
Yeah.
But not. I mean, there's very few highlights at all in this film. Like, it's just basically sitting there watching
people. For instance, they're playing a football game of which you said
was the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Rams from 1981. Terry Bradshaw was the quarterback at the time. Mm-hmm. They don't reference him. They reference some other quarterback. They call a play. But anyway,
it's a commentary on the TV.
It's a commentary on the football game. They didn't, I guess, have permission for the NFL.
And while they're watching the football game, they're eating spaghetti. So this is, even though this is one of those Italian movies, it's supposed to take place in America, and there were several, at least dubbed with the Italian films. The setting was America, but you can still tell it's European, and it's dubbed over.
Yeah.
With that kind of awkward English.
Yeah. Which at times was almost more humorous than what,
Oh, yeah, like the little kid saying, Daddy.
Yeah. Daddy. I mean, have you ever said Daddy?
No, not hardly.
But to me, it was a train wreck from minute one. Like, there was no...
And you said, it was like, it was a Halloween, like their version of Halloween or something. And
yeah, the critics said that it was supposed to be the Italian version of the U.S.'s Halloween because it was done on a very low budget, and it was supposed to be like a suspenseful. And keep in mind, this was 1981, so Halloween had just been released, or at least was out for just a little while.
But it doesn't capture any of the charm or the suspense or the subtlety of and the killer you see from the get-go, other than... I guess he's supposed to be some sort of zombie, because he can't die, and when his blood coagulates, hardens up, he can heal his wounds quickly, but really and truly it never really happens.
But that was the experiment. I think it's supposed to be like the church's experimental on self-healing.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of backfired on him, and that's why the priest was trying to chase the monster down to kill him. And the monster goes through. There's a scene where motorcycles come down and through. Turn around, comes back. One of them breaks down, of course, and as he starts to attack him, the monster is hit by an oncoming car, which happens to be Mr. Bennett, who is the father of the little boy and the girl that has the spinal injury that's laying in bed.
It never explains, though, why the monster, again loosely called that, goes to their home continuously.
Yeah, I mean, when I was looking at the notes of the movie, it said that he just wanders up the driveway, and that's like the nearest house.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, could have happened.
It's one of those films that just gets lost in its own translation. I mean,
I think between budgetary reasons and plot-wise, it probably just...
Yeah.
It was a train wreck. I mean, there was no...
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it at all. Like, of all the terrible ones we've watched, at least with a terrible movie that's fun, well, it's fun. This one was just flat out boring.
And I have no idea, I mean, why they could classify this as a horror movie. I mean, maybe I guess suspense or something, but not...
Well, let's talk about, on that aspect, let's talk about some of the kills in the film. You know, again, being Italian from this era, they try to go for the over-the-top, gory stuff. But, for instance, a nurse gets her head drilled by a medical tool, and it goes in through her head. They do the close-up of the head, and then it goes in. But I've seen way better effects in, like, City of the Living Dead and, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Zombie.
The next kill is a guy on a table being pushed into a bandsaw. Yeah. And that one actually, like, for a few seconds, it actually didn't look too bad. And then they cut to the shot of him having been cut, and it was...
Yeah, it wasn't that great at all. The next one, which I think would have been a lot more brutal if she screamed, was one of the nurses that takes care of the girl. The monster, the killer, the zombie, whatever, was trying to stuff her in the oven. And he turns the oven on, and their head's in there. And
gas oven with flames.
Yeah.
And it's not like an electric oven.
And she don't scream, she don't do anything. She just kind of, like she's going to pass out or whatever. And it burns her hair, and they do some makeup effects and stuff, but it's not as brutal as it could have been.
Yeah, and on that one, though... the makeup, because she didn't die in the oven. She came back out, and it was like one of those jump scares, I guess, because she took a pair of scissors and stabbed the monster in the neck.
Yeah.
Didn't kill him, obviously, but her makeup from being in the oven, I mean, it did look like she was burned.
Yeah.
And had like skin peeling. That one, for that part, wasn't too bad, but the rest of it, no. I mean, I think it would be absurd if you took an hour and a half and watched this, because you could be doing so much.
This one was terrible. You look at the box art, of course it's one of those box arts that kind of fakes out and looks cool, but it's not. And the synopsis of the film made it look more hardcore than it was.
Yeah, I mean... to their credit, that is kind of what box art is supposed to do. It's supposed to draw in.
Yeah.
And they did relatively good on that aspect, but I would definitely not be looking forward to purchasing this.
No.
Or even meeting the actors if they come to a horror con. Definitely a 1 star. 1 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
Bear in mind. Technically, it could be 1 out of 100 stars, because this one was not good.
No, this one is a direct 1.
Yeah. So anyway, save your time, save your energy, save your money? I don't know. It was free on Tubi, so... But definitely don't watch it.
Yeah, don't. If you do, that's just plain absurd.
Alright guys, that'll do it for now. Till next time, I'm Jason.
And I'm Ben.
And this was an absurd video cast?
Maybe overusing it a little bit.
Let us know what you think
in the comments below.
Yes, those are still open.
Type away, you've got 10 fingers.
Thanks for watching.